were there protests against the Berlin Wall. If you are curious about the protests against the Berlin Wall, you are in for an interesting journey through history. The Berlin Wall, built in 1961, was more than just a physical barrier. It represented a deep division between East and West Berlin, cutting off families and friends. But this division sparked a spirit of resistance among the people. Before the wall was even constructed, there were significant protests. One notable event occurred on June 17, 1953. Thousands of East German workers took to the streets to voice their discontent with government policies. This uprising was met with force, as Soviet tanks suppressed the demonstrations. It was an early sign of the growing unrest in East Germany. Once the wall was erected, protests became more challenging. The East German government enforced strict surveillance, and border guards were authorized to shoot anyone trying to escape. Despite these risks, East Germans continued to resist. Small protests and acts of defiance occurred as people yearned for freedom and reunification. Fast forward to 1989, and the atmosphere began to change dramatically. A wave of peaceful protests swept through East Germany and other Eastern Bloc nations. Citizens gathered in large numbers, calling for reforms and the right to travel freely. The opening of Hungary's border with Austria allowed many East Germans to flee, adding fuel to the fire of change. The culmination of these protests came on November 9, 1989. On that historic day, thousands of East Berliners gathered at the wall, demanding an end to the division. Some climbed over the wall, while others chipped away at it. The overwhelmed guards eventually allowed people to cross, marking a turning point in history. For those planning a trip to Berlin, visiting the sites related to the Berlin Wall is a must. The Brandenburg Gate, Checkpoint Charlie, and the East Side Gallery are essential stops. These locations tell the stories of resistance and the peaceful revolution that led to the wall's fall. They provide a glimpse into Europe's Cold War past and the journey toward unity. In summary, protests against the Berlin Wall were a significant part of its history. From early uprisings to the massive demonstrations leading to its fall, the spirit of resistance was alive and well. For travelers, these historical sites offer a chance to connect with the past and understand the impact of the wall on Europe.